Radio Bypass, bringing you rock and roll music that deserves to be heard. Discover new bands. Here's some old favorites on Radio Bypass.
Welcome to Radio Bypass, where we bring you rock and roll music that deserves to be heard. Joining us today are some very special guests. We have the privilege of speaking with author and bassist Simon Laffy today. We were also going to be joined by our one of my favorite drummers from the Sex Pistols, Paul Cook. Little technical difficulty there. That's not going to happen, but we do also have Def Leppard guitarist Phil Collen, and Phil, Paul, and Simon together collectively have a band called MANRAZE, and they've just released an ambitious 5-CD set of music entitled Lock, Stock, and Barrel. It's great. Can't wait for everybody to hear it. And gentlemen, welcome to Radio Bypass. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you. Good to be here.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So I know we're a little short on time, so I'm going to try to blast through this quick. So if I'm rushing you too much, just tell me to slow down. But first off, for MANRAZE, because I am excited about this whole thing. We talked a little bit before we started recording about some of my favorites already. But in everything I've known about the band in the past, I would say that MANRAZE was never really like a typical side project or typical side group. So I wonder, like, when you guys all first got together in 2004, I believe it was, hard to believe it's that long ago already, but what was the original vision for the band at that time?
I think, as always, it's a celebration of our heroes and music that we love. And we're all from very diverse backgrounds, like musically, but we love a diversity, and we're all from London, which is a huge melting pot of cultures and everything. And you actually hear it in the music. You know, there's the dub reggae thing. You know, in the 60s, there was a lot of Jamaicans, West Indians coming over, Indians, Pakistanis, everything. There was a melting pot. And we obviously had American music, and being from London, you'd have bands like The Who and the Kinks, the Stones. All of these bands would be kind of London. Then later on, obviously, the Sex Pistols and the Clash. So you just had an amazing plethora of great stuff to draw from, and we were very enthusiastic about that, as along with Zeppelin, Deep Purple, and God knows what else, and including even jazz stuff. So it's it was all of that stuff coming out. You know, like I said, we were kind of influenced by everything, and everything was cool. And what a wonderful kind of introduction to music and art through this great thing about being in London. So that was really what it ended up sounding like. We didn't know what. Me and Simon wrote a song initially, and when we started rehearsing for the first time, it had a sound immediately, and we kind of just followed that. So that's really in a nutshell, and it is very diverse. It goes from, like I said, punk rock, Iggy and the Stooges, to the Police or Def Leppard, the Pistols. It has all of these elements. So that was really it.
And when you say about, you know, that's just kind of how it fell together. So you two had been together in the band Girl, you know, before.
Yeah.
So you guys already probably had a pretty strong songwriting relationship from that time period as well, yeah?
We had a great friendship from that time. I think primarily that was the main driver. We always had a great respect musically as well, that we could interact with each other and respect each other's work and, you know, vibe off what each other's doing. So it was very natural, to be honest.
Totally, yeah. We never had to think about it or discuss what is the sound going to be. What is it? It just literally, as Simon said, naturally, it just flowed, and we just followed it. You know, jumped on a riverboat and followed it down the river.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, this box set that's just come out, Lock, Stock, and Barrel, what sparked the idea to put that together and put it out at this point in time?
Well, I think it was a Cherry Red thing. Simon had mentioned there was so much material that had never been released, and, you know, like remixes. Simon had done dub remixes, and there were versions floating around, and songs that I'd forgot we'd even recorded, to be quite honest. Mm-hmm. So some of this stuff, and then when you hear it all combined, you actually saw it written down, and we were going through them. It was remarkable. It was like just totally inspiring, and it was like, you know, Cherry Red said, yeah, they'd release the whole lot as a box set, and we were thrilled because, you know, it never really got an audience. It never really got released, or I mean, it was out, but it not really. You couldn't.
How about the original 2 studio records?
Yeah, you know, even on iTunes, it wasn't on iTunes for the longest time, and initially there was the wrong version up there. I mean, all of this stuff. So this is a joy. It's a thrill to finally get this stuff out, and it, you know, there's so much stuff, and yeah, hopefully we'll be doing some gigs as well. It won't be yet because I'm going on tour with Def Leppard next week, and
Right.
Paul's going on tour. But hopefully we can get to London, and we'll start there, and we'll do some gigs in London. That'd be great, you know.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. Because you guys probably, have you played it? I know in, what was it, 2009 or something is when you guys did a European thing with Alice Cooper?
Yeah, and we done the Download Festival. We played in LA a couple of times, and we'd done various shows in England. We'd done a British tour, actually, before, you know, Manchester, Birmingham, all over the place. So no, we've done a lot of gigs, and again, we forget about them, but there's a lot of stuff out there.
Gotcha. So on that live disc, I did see some were listed as Burbank. So was that then Burbank, California? Because I wasn't sure about that. Okay.
Absolutely, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, because that was actually going to be one of my questions, because I love the energy, and then I saw it appeared to be from different places. Some of the live tracks, and when I saw Burbank, I'm like, is that the Burbank I know down on the other side of the state here?
Yeah,
it is. Okay, so let me see. I gotta just jump ahead just a little bit. I'll ask you guys this before we get to. The next thing, but so the second the phrase has been used for you guys. I think maybe Paul was the one that coined it, punk, funk, roots, rock, right? And it definitely perfectly describes what MANRAZE is. So I was just wondering, you know, probably especially for you, Phil, coming from Def Leppard as well, is how difficult or how liberating was it to ignore genre boundaries and simply create?
It's perfect. I love that. And one of the problems being in a big band like Def Leppard is that you paint yourself into a corner. You know, we had an album called Slang that came out in the 90s, like 96. And we tried to be a bit more experimental, and it was like, it really got shut down. I love the album. It came out great.
I like it.
Yeah, everyone in the band loves it, and it's getting finally getting a bit of a people go, oh my God, I love this record. Mm-hmm. So, but you have to be very careful. You know, you can't do what you want. MANRAZE, we've done exactly what we want. Like I said, we jumped on a raft, and it was like, yep, it's going down the river. Let's just go with it. And you're able to go off even within a song. You could actually it could be like purely funky and that, but it can have a punk energy and a kind of a rock vocal. You can do all the above, and there's no rules there. Like I said, unfortunately, in Def Leppard, we found that happens occasionally. Not recently. We're recording some new stuff now, and it's so diverse, and I love it. I love that. But that is one of the things. It's what, as an artist, you want to be able to grow and kind of keep moving the bar upwards. And with MANRAZE, that's what we did from the get-go, and we were allowed to do that and follow its natural sound and conclusion, you know. So, and like I said, we are doing that with Def Leppard, but it's always an issue for sure.
Right.
Yeah, with MANRAZE, it was like no rules right from the start, right?
Yeah.
And because we know each other so well, we just look at each other. We kind of know what's going on. We know what's going to come out.
You get that silent communication where, yeah. That's awesome. I love that kind of thing. And that's something I think sometimes is missing in some of today's music is, you know, everybody is putting out records and working on music, but it's all almost kind of like project based, and yes. So some of that camaraderie that, like Def Leppard, such a family, and you guys probably were such a family. When that's not present, when it's more of, I'm a journeyman showing up to work each day, and today I'm showing up to this studio for this job, and tomorrow it takes away some of that, I think. It's just about perfection, and and I appreciate that. I love spontaneity in music. I love mistakes in music, for that matter.
Me too.
Especially a live show. I don't want the perfection. That's why I'm against backing tracks and all that stuff. I'd rather hear somebody's voice crack or somebody be played shitty or whatever it might be, because that's the experience that soothes my soul.
100%.
Yeah, you want to hear the stools squeaking as you move around and things like that.
Exactly. Yes. All right, so I know we're getting tight on time with our little issues. Paul did drop back in. He dropped back out, but at least he did see that. He did confirm that he could not hear us, but he was able to see us. So real quick, we'll wrap up with MANRAZE, but just real fast, because you did touch on Def Leppard's new music. I did hear that there was a new album being slated for 2027, but also, do you have a greatest hits coming out on vinyl this month in June of 2026?
I have no idea. We are so busy. I mean, earlier on this year, we played Vegas. We done February. We played Caesar's Palace, and probably did the best gig we've ever done in our career. So that trajectory is working. We're constantly working on new music. So we've got something coming out. I did hear a best of vinyl thing in the works. I'm not sure. I don't know when it's coming out. So
gotcha.
That'll be at some point. And again, new music.
But music like we had from Diamond Star Halos, though, that's coming in 2027.
Yeah, brand new music. Yeah, for sure. Hopefully 2027. We are Def Leppard, don't forget. So.
I was going to kid you about that.
Yeah, but no, we're very aware of that. It's like, still not quite ready. We got loads of songs. We've never stopped writing since that Diamond Star Halos album. We've constantly been recording, writing. There's a song called Just Like 73 that was going to be on that album, but we hadn't quite finished it in time. Came out as a standalone single with Tom Morello on it as well.
Awesome. I love that
thank you
so much. Yeah.
So we continued that trajectory. We're still writing, and the stuff got wackier and more diverse, like what we was just saying about MANRAZE, in its own Def Leppard way. So we're really excited about that whenever that comes out.
Gotcha. Well, all the Def Leppard fans are excited too. And then, real quick too, can we just touch real fast on Delta Deep, another one of your projects?
Absolutely.
Loved that album.
Thank you.
From a few years ago. Is there anything in the works there?
Yes, and as there is, me and Simon are writing some new songs together, and we got this great idea for a cover for MANRAZE as well. I heard yesterday the Delta Deep track and the song Black Coffee that was written by Tina Turner and the Stevie Marriott, Humble Pie done it. The version on the Delta Deep album is actually MANRAZE. It's Simon on bass and Paul on drums.
I did see that. I remember.
Yeah, so that's there. We may be doing some Delta Deep gigs, just a couple of them, or one or two, if we can fit it in September. That's the plan. As well, while we're at here, and then the MANRAZE stuff. When me and Paul get off tour, hopefully we get some time and we'll do a whole MANRAZE gig or two or three or whatever, So that really looking forward to that. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, I know you've got somewhere else you got to be. So one last thing, I always wrap these interviews up by playing whatever the current song is from the artist that I'm speaking with. I add that in. And so I was planning on going with the single, I Surrender. But since, Simon, you asked me some of my early favorites so far, and I have told you what those are, and we've discussed it as well, Phil, maybe I should add the single, I Surrender, so everybody can hear that again, but also one other track. So I want to know, what would you guys pick? What would one song be that I should add at the end here?
Wow. What depends on what mood you're in. What kind of mood you're in? You want a hard rock smash you in the face?
Yeah, think about what I Surrender sounds like and what the vibe of that is, and let's go another direction.
Totally. Well, Over My Dead Body is great. That's off the second album of Punk Punk
that's
Roots.
Yin and Yang. There, I Surrender and Over My Dead Body. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we have agreement. All right, that's what we're going to do. So everybody, it's been just great. We got to do this again, you guys. When
Absolutely,
we have
yes.
a little more time. But we've been joined here today by Simon Laffy, Phil Collen. The band is MANRAZE. The new release is Lock, Stock, and Barrel. It's freaking killer. I did look to see, being in the United States, Cherry Red Records does have, but they only have, like, it looks like a UK-based website. It doesn't look like they have a USA-based store.
Oh.
So definitely I'll put that website in this interview as well for people in Europe and everything. But is there any specific place that you guys might know of that would be good for United States folks? Because the shipping's probably going to kill us.
Right. I didn't know that, actually. I thought it was a universal thing, but no, I don't know. I can't really quote on that.
I will do some more research too in the meantime. But that was my early finding, that I couldn't find it in a US store or on Amazon either. For those of us in the US.
Thanks for letting us know.
Yeah, no. I just thought maybe I'm overlooking something, and you guys might know. But at any rate, guys, I'll find all this out. I'll do the best I can, and by the time this interview comes out, I'll have that information. And then if people want to follow you guys, it looks like you have a Facebook page I was able to find.
Yeah, and there's an Instagram as well.
And an Instagram, great. So follow MANRAZE, keep up with what's happening there. And again, just a real pleasure, you guys. Really loved having you here today. And everybody at home or wherever you're listening to this right now, whether you're watching or just listening, turn it up a little bit more. In fact, turn it up a lot more, because both of these songs will kick your ass. This is from Lock, Stock, and Barrel, MANRAZE, starting off with disc 5. This is I Surrender.